Hello, YouTubers. It's Barbie J here. Welcome to my channel, June BLC. Hey there, everybody. We are back. That's right, we are back. Your girl Barbie J is here with the recap and review of The Equalizer, Season 5, Episode 1, The Lost Ones. And it was interesting to see this episode with Robin all by herself. No Mel, no Detective Dante. He's still looking good. You know what I mean? He had his afro working. Yes, he did. I was like, oh my goodness. So it was a good episode. And we saw more of Miles in it. So, like I said, it's always a good episode, but there were some things in it that didn't make sense for me. And you'll probably hear me say it when I'm doing my recap. But it is what it is. It's Queen Latifah, y'all. You can't go wrong with it, okay? And then I also have to post my picture. I'm gonna put it on my community wall. My picture that I took with Detective Dante, Marcus Dante. That's right. I went to see him in a Broadway play this year. I think around in June or something like that. Or was it May? And I took a picture with him and I never posted it. So I have to post it with my chocolate brown sugar man. Okay, y'all? Okay. So before we get started, if you're new here or if you're returning here and haven't subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button. Then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you smash that like button, write a comment, and join the conversation, and share the video because sharing is caring. That's right, y'all. Help assist this channel grow because I appreciate all of you out there. All of you, I appreciate. Just know this. Anyhow, so this episode starts off with a young girl. She's being chased and then she's caught by a man, and we find out that her name is Randy and that she's 11 years old. And she ran away from a foster care system with her brother Kevin because they were being treated poorly. So they wasn't being fed and things like that. So they ended up at this lady's house who is going to end up being Robin's client. So it's morning now, and we see Miles is with Delilah, and they come in laughing and walking into the kitchen where Vi and Robin are, and he hugs Robin and then takes a piece of bacon off the table. And I was like, did he just hug Robin? Did I just see that? And then he notices a leaky faucet and says he'll be back later to fix it, and he leaves. And, Vi is making note of all of this in her head of Miles' actions, and she isn't very happy about it. And she warns Robin to be careful, and Robin feels Miles is harmless and just wants to feel needed. So she said, plus Delilah likes having him around. So then she gets a call and she leaves to meet Harry at the bar. She gets to see Mel, who's looking well, and as we all remember from the season finale, okay, she left last season. She left their team and has chosen to no longer equalize with Robin and Harry. She needs to take care of her mental health, and that is important, y'all. It really is. So Harry lets Robin know that Mel hasn't even been downstairs in his sanctum since quitting because, Robin wanted to know, did she mention anything about coming back to the team? And he's like, nope, she haven't even been downstairs. I was like, wow. So now Robin's new client's name is Miss Neal, and she walks in and interrupts them while Harry and Robin are talking. And she gives Robin the details about Randy and the 8 kids that she houses and explains that what she's doing isn't really legal. So that's why she didn't contact the police about the child that's missing. If she had done that, all of the kids would have to go back into the foster care system. And she didn't want that for them because I heard that system could be terrible. Some of those foster parents just in it for the money, don't give a darn about the kids, and they buying clothes and starving the kids. You know what I mean? So anyway, Robin is introduced to the kids, and she sits down and talks with Kevin, who explains to Robin what he did by stealing a grocery truck that he thought was full of food, but it ended up being guns. He said that a lot of times they don't have enough food there, so he thought he was doing something good, even though his sister said he shouldn't do it. And his sister was supposed to be being a lookout on the roof, but somehow she got caught. I don't know how the lookout on the roof got caught with something that's being done down on the ground. Anywho, Then he got a call from a man saying if he ever wants to see Randy again, he better return the truck alone to the place he stole it from. So Robin took him with her so that he could show her where he parked that truck. But when they got there, the truck was gone. Ooh, poor Kevin was losing his mind. Said, I'm so stupid. What I do? Oh my God, it's gone. So Robin reaches out to Harry to do his magic and see if he could find that missing truck. Meanwhile, we see Mel and Dee doing some meditation and breath control, which helps deal with trauma, Mel said. So during this time, Dee shares with Mel that, she was smiling and Mel wanted to know what it was. And she said she's thinking about her friend Cam. He makes her happy, but she's not sure if they are a thing yet. And I'm guessing that means a couple. When they say they're in a thing, I guess that's what it is. So now we see Marcus Dante at his new gig in Cali when he gets a call from Harry asking if he knows of anyone who would be running guns in the Hunts Point area of the Boogie Down Bronx. And Marcus says, well, it's not my area, but he can make some calls. He then asks about Mel and Robin, and Harry tells him that Mel is doing so good and that he doesn't think she would be returning to the team anytime soon. Then he told him that Robin misses him, and Marcus asked, did she tell you that? And Harry said, oh, she didn't have to, I think Harry playing matchmaker all over again or something, trying to get them back together, y'all. Because y'all see later, he does the same thing to Robin. So now Harry is back in his sanctum with Robin, and he's checking the surveillance camera that he noticed in the area where the truck was stolen. And he finds out info about a man who may have grabbed Randy. His name is Paco Alvarez, a career thug, and is well known for violence and is a lieutenant for Diego Sueno or somebody, whoever that is. So the surveillance camera shows Paco walking with Randy into a bar where Paco hangs out with his gang. So Robin went by herself to get Randy back. She had to fight several men before she got Paco in a position where he had no choice than to obey her request. And he called his boss who had taken Randy with him, and Robin asked, where's the girl? And told him that she wants her back safe. And the guy said, then get my guns back to me by 5 p.m. And Robin was like, you told the kid 8 p.m. He said, I also told the kid not to get any cops involved. And Robin said, I ain't no cop. And he said, I'm not a patient man, and you don't want to find out what I do to amuse myself when I'm bored. Then he hung up on her. I said, uh-oh, I hope he don't do nothing to that little girl, because I was getting concerned. Anyway, Harry finds the truck parked in a locked down NYPD impound lot, if that makes sense to y'all. I said, Dad. And we learned that once they saw those guns, the feds were called. So Harry says, I wonder if Dante can help us with this. I'm sure he'll love to hear from you. I think he kind of misses you a little. And Robin's like, did he say that? He said, well, he didn't have to. So Robin looks at Harry like, okay, give me some privacy. So Harry leaves, and then she calls Marcus. She wants to know if there is any way for her to get that truck out of impound. And he tells her there is no way to get it out legally. And she chuckles and says, you've been gone too long. Who said anything about legally? So he smiles when she says that. And so at this moment, they both say that they miss each other without actually saying the words. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet, isn't it? So as Marcus was about to give Robin some tips or tricks to try, he had to run with the group that he's working with in California. And he said, I'll call you back later. So now we have Vi in the house about to leave when Miles just lets himself into the house to fix the leaking faucet. So she's like, what are you doing here? You can't just be letting yourself in like this. What if one of us was walking around naked? And this fool had the nerve to respond with, nobody in here has anything I haven't seen before. And Vi was like, excuse me? Excuse me? And he thinks because he's a doctor, he is allowed to see any of them naked whenever, huh? What are you saying, Miles? You sound stupid. So Aunt Vi put down her stuff and stepped to Miles, stating that she knows what he's doing. Basically, she's feeling that he's trying to rebound with Robin after divorcing Kelly. And then he admits that he didn't realize how good he had it before, and he wants his family back. I said, see how men could be sometimes? Look at here. Meanwhile, Robin tricks Officer O'Malley with a pastrami sandwich. She might have been able to trick me with that too. I love me some pastrami. Anyway, she tricked him with the pastrami sandwich to go into the impound lot to get her so-called prescription out of the glove compartment of her car that's in the lot. So what Robin did was she jumped into that produce truck, hot wired it, and drove it straight out of a lot, smashing through the lock gate. I said, "Oh Lord, I'm surprised alarms wasn't going off and police cars wasn't chasing her, you know." But as she was driving, she got a call from Miss Neal and finds out that Kevin and his little silly behind got a call and ran off saying that he's going to trade himself for Randy. Why is this foolish child always trying to do things on his own without speaking to Miss Neal first? You know, Robin's expression seemed worrisome to me when she was giving this information. You know what I mean? So he walks in there thinking these thugs are honest and gonna keep their word. But he soon found out what a big mistake he made trusting some freaking criminals. So now we have Harry. He gives Robin the address and location information about the area where Kevin was to meet Diego. Harry doesn't want Robin to go in there by herself and said maybe then they should call the police. But Robin doesn't want to take a chance when the kids' lives are in danger. You know, they're on the line right now. So he tells her to be careful. Meanwhile, Mel and Dee are upstairs in the bar about to drink some sparkling water, and Mel starts looking for a bottle opener. I found this scene to be unbelievable for the fact that it has been a couple of weeks, probably more than a couple of weeks if I'm correct. Let me know down in the comment section if anybody knows anything different. But it's been weeks since Mel left the team. Hasn't she been working in the bar all this time? Since she definitely hasn't been downstairs, Harry told us. So why is it that this is the first time she's seen a gun in the drawer? Also, since when is a gun triggering to her when she's been shooting them all this time? She was just downstairs meditating, and that quick she got triggered. I don't know. It got confusing for me. I didn't feel it as real. I mean, it could happen, but the reason she left the team wasn't because a gun triggered her. So that's why I'm saying this. Anyway, the majority of business owners that I know probably do have a gun in their brick and mortar locations, just for protection and safety. Anyways, Mel sees the gun and starts to have a panic attack. Meanwhile, now Robin gets herself inside that warehouse and Harry is being her like eyes and ears or whatever. Then he gets a call from Dee saying Mel needs help. She's having a panic attack. So he says, "Rob, I'll be right back." And he left her alone to check on his wife. This is Harry now. So meanwhile, his phone is sitting on the desk and Dante is calling him with some news about a new player in the weapons and trafficking business named Angel Salazar, something like that. And do not underestimate them. They have zero regard for human life. And if you're going up against these guys, you better bring an army. I said, oh my God. And here Robin is stuck in the warehouse with them. You know what I mean? Trying to get these kids. So Robin sees the kids. She knocks out the man who had them. She cuts their wrist ties off and tells them they need to get out of there as quick as possible. While trying to escape, they get blocked by the bad guys who are coming in with Paco and Diego all beat up. So they hide and Robin tells them to be quiet. Then Angel's men shoots both of them and the gunshot scares Randy, who lets out a little squeal, and it alerts the bad guys that someone is in there. I'm like, oh my God. For some reason, I already knew that she was mess up things for them. I knew it. So Robin finds herself fighting at least 8 men with weapons. You know what I mean? She tells Kevin and Randy to run as fast and as far as they can. And Kevin's like, what about you? She said, don't worry about me. So I was hoping that these kids ran to get help or call the cops or something, but they didn't. So Robin got hit in the back of her head with a fire extinguisher or something like that, I think it was, and was knocked out cold. And when she woke up, she found herself tied to a chair and Angel was looking at her. He asked who else knows about his operation and she told him the NYPD and they should be here soon. So he said he knows why she's there and that he wants her to suffer until she tells him what he needs to know. Meanwhile, Harry finally get back to Robin, which has to be at least 15-20 minutes later, and he sees Dante's message and all of those vehicles parked in front of that warehouse. He then calls 911 and said he have an emergency emergency. Meanwhile, one of the bad guys has just pulled out or extracted one of Robin's teeth with a plier, and blood is running down the side of her mouth. Thank God she's a tough chick and been in the Army, Navy, whatever, Marines. I don't know where she's been, but she's tough. Then she pulled a sharp object off of the man's tool belt when he was leaning in front of her. She was able to snatch it up, and that's the guy who was torturing her. And she was able to use it to cut through the tie that was on her wrist. So as the guy came back over to her and got close, she took that sharp object and stabbed him several times with and slashed across his face and his neck, and he fell down bleeding. At this moment, more guys came in with automatic weapons, and Robin got her other wrist loose and started running. They were closing the gate, and they shot some explosive type something at her, and it's like boom, blew up, and she flew up and then landed on the ground. And while she was down on the ground all in a daze, a Cadillac SUV pulled up in front of her, and Kevin opened the door and said, "Get in!" And they drove off. I said, "Look at this little boy. I can't believe he did that." So the bad guys finally stopped shooting, and Angel told them, "We'll deal with her later." Mind you now, Harry is seeing all of this go down on surveillance, and he puts his head down in his hands and is probably feeling really bad right now. I mean, really, really, really super bad. Like he really letting her down, because he let Robin down. And Robin thanks them for coming back for her. And Kevin said, "Don't worry, we got you." So it ends with Kevin and Randy going back to their illegal foster home and getting lots of hugs, and Kevin promising to never do this again. And Miss Neal gets a text from Robin saying the world needs more people like you. Use this donation to keep your children clothed and fed. And it was a Venmo donation from Venmo, but we couldn't see. They didn't show a dollar amount, because I really want to know how much Robin was giving up to help this lady with these kids. So then we also have Marcus finally calling Robin back, but it goes to voicemail, and he's just staring at her pic on his cell. At the bar, Mel asks about Rob, and Harry lets her know that she was in a jam and managed to get out of it. But from the questions Mel was asking, like, is she okay? What happened and all this stuff? Harry's responses somehow let Mel realize that Rob's situation was her fault, or feel that it was her fault. It makes her feel it was her fault because Harry had to help her when she was having a panic attack. And she said, "Rob could have been killed because I wasn't there." And she was feeling bad. And the thing is, Harry didn't say anything to tell her, no, that's not true. He just kept quiet because it was true. But Harry did say, "No, I'm the one who let her down. I left her." And she had nobody. When she was talking to Dante, he had to leave, couldn't give her information. He had Harry, he had to leave, couldn't help her. So she was by herself. So next we see Dee and Vi. They're in the kitchen talking about Mel and her situation, and then they went to bed. Then we see Robin. She slides in all beat up from a side door, and she's in the kitchen cleaning her bruised up hands, and she's looking at her beat up self in the window. When someone comes in and she grabs her gun and turns around and points it only to see Miles. And she's like, "So this what you doing now? Just letting yourself in?" Which is the same thing Vi was saying. I don't understand why Miles think he has the right to do that. Do they all got keys to his damn house? No, I bet they don't. No. Anyway, he probably would give it to them. But now he sees her in this condition and starts attending to her very gently. He lets her know that one of her injuries needs stitches. He did mention something about going to the hospital, but she said, "I'm okay." So then Vi comes around the corner and she sees what is happening and then goes back to her room. Robin then thanks Miles for being there for her. And he asks her, "How did this happen? Where was your team?" And she let him know that there is no team and that she got lucky with this one. I said, "Oh my goodness." And she said, from now on, the only person she can trust to be there is herself, meaning that she can't even depend on Harry because he did let her down. And that's how it went off, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I thought it was great, and I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.